Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I do apologize for not being able to be with you in person. It's simply impossible. But I'm very happy to bring this greeting and memory of a very special time. Let me explain the mood of the country during that time. Israel had just passed the Jerusalem law, declaring Jerusalem to be the eternal, undivided capital of Israel. And 13 countries who had embassies in Jerusalem, in protest and with lots of pressure, moved their embassies to Tel Aviv. Israel was quite alone. I often tell my American friends, imagine if all the embassies moved out of Washington. How would you feel? That's how Israel felt during that time. They were alone. Prime Minister Menachem Begin had his hands full. The country was in despair. It was a very difficult time. But this man had done his homework, and he knew that there were Christians and there were Christians. He knew that evangelical Christians believed the Bible very much like he did, and that Israel was not a mistake. The regathering of the Jewish people was something that many, many Christians, in fact, millions of Christians around the world, believed as he did. And he knew that this could be a tremendous well of support for Israel and the Jewish people. So when our spokesman, Reverend Jan Willem van der Hoven, and our director, Dr. Johan Lukoff, took the concept of an international Christian embassy to the Prime Minister, to Menachem Begin, he was right there. He said, go for it. But now, don't get me wrong. He did not put one shekel, nor did any government agency put any money into the founding of this international Christian embassy. I know. I was the financial director, and I remained the financial director for 27 years. The support of this organization came from millions of Christians around the world who wanted to stand with Israel, wanted to support this country. I remember at that Feast of Tabernacles, that Christian celebration during the Feast of Tabernacles in 1981, when Menachem Begin came onto the stage. When he entered the room and he walked onto that stage, the audience immediately rose up in applause and cheers. It was a full house, every seat, standing room only, and they cheered and they cheered. And he walked over to that podium and grabbed a hold and just looked at the audience. And they didn't stop cheering. Now, with all due respect, I don't regard Menachem Begin as a jolly, jovial sort of personality. He was very stern, and he looked out at that audience. And then it happened. There was a wave of Christian love that poured onto that stage. And this man looked back at the audience and responded with a sense of, we are one. Down in the audience, on the front rows, was Maurice Jaffe, the head of the great synagogue, and the whole Jaffe family, many of whom we know here in Israel today. Reuven Hecht from the north, Mayor Teddy Kollek. They were all there for this defining moment. Later on, as these same Christians marched down the streets of Jerusalem in the Jerusalem March, I looked onto the balconies and onto the sides of the streets, and I saw these Israelis looking at these Christians, wondering, can we trust them? Dare we trust them? And then somehow in the corner of their eye, I had this sense that they were also thinking, well, if our Prime Minister, Menachem Begin, trusted them, maybe we can too. Maybe we will have friends. It was truly at that time, using Menachem Begin's words, that the phrase, Israel, you are not alone, became very real. It took the courage and strong leadership of Menachem Begin to bring this about.
These videos